Let's start there and your thoughts on the U.S.'s economic pressure campaign against Iran. Does Israel feel that this is the next best step in terms of the course of action to get Iran to the negotiating table? And does Israel have a timeline realistically on when you think this will go into full effect?
Well, thanks for having me, Tyler. We're all in favor for what President Trump's doing and the economic D-Day, so to speak. And the way we understand it is that the friend of your enemy is your enemy, and you can't have countries that are facilitating terrorist entities like Iran. And we're all for these sanctions that are going to be put on these countries.
Dr. Falk, it's great to have you with us. For the sake of our viewers and listeners, we should let everyone know that you have been in the room with the Prime Minister for some critical meetings and have been one of his nearest advisors in this process. And so we wonder if the Prime Minister believes that sanctions can achieve what military action has not been able to.
We welcome the sanctions, and we don't see them as mutually exclusive with military actions. I'm sure the president has already said that one thing is for sure: Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. That's what the Prime Minister says. That's what the president says, and that's what's going to happen. So these sanctions are welcome. The Iranian economy is in the gutter. Their inflation, they have hyperinflation. Their currency is as weak as that they've ever been. It's like 2 million rial to $1 US. They have no employment. Their economy is in the gutter, and they're going to be hit. They're going to be hit even further. So those are the conditions. The conditions are being created for this terrible regime, these tyrants in Tehran, to be clobbered.
Will they be hit militarily even further? There's a question about whether the U.S. is, for instance, turning away from military action to focus solely on an economic approach.
Well, again, I think those two things are not mutually exclusive. And the main thing is that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. That has been made clear by the president. It's been cleared by Israel as well. For my prime minister, made it very clear that deal or no deal, Iran will not have nuclear weapons as long as Prime Minister Netanyahu is prime minister.
Can you give us any insight into what those conversations look like right now between the U.S. and Israel in terms of viable options for military escalation that could be on the table?
Well, I can't get into details, but obviously everything's on the table, and there's zero daylight between the president and the prime minister. There's been great cooperation and coordination throughout the war. I don't think there's ever been a precedent of such great cooperation between a president and a prime minister, or between our armed forces, between the American armed forces and between the Israeli armed forces. The achievements have been incredible, unprecedented. Iran is weaker than it's ever been, and America and Israel are stronger than we've ever been.
Well, part of building the pressure on Iran, given that Iran's economy has taken a hit, though, is the most powerful move would be to have China no longer importing Iranian crude. That's a big question here when it comes to the threatened actions by the U.S. Do you have a sense on what the U.S. is particularly looking for when it comes to China, if a reduction of barrels would be enough, and if Israel is engaged in any diplomacy when it comes to perhaps pressuring China to cut off some of its financial lifelines?
Well, I'm not going to get into American policy, of course. American policy is led by the Americans. But I think it would obviously be in the interest of China for Iran to stop terrorizing the world. They're holding the Hormuz Straits as blackmail towards the world. You could only imagine what would happen if they had nuclear weapons. They would blackmail the entire world, and there'd be very little we could do about it. So we acted in the nick of time, and America and Israel did the right thing to put this Iranian regime in its place.
I want to ask you, Dr. Falk, about what's happening or not happening in Gaza. You said in an interview recently that when Hamas says it will disarm, quote, the proof will be in the pudding, unquote. What does proof look like to Israel? And has this boiled down to a who blinks first?
Well, it's very simple, actually. If Hamas wants to disarm, they can disarm in an afternoon. They can just lay down their arms. Yeah. Now, the 20-point plan that President Trump introduced almost a year ago, called for a 3D model to disarm Hamas, to demilitarize Gaza, and to de-radicalize the Gazans. That is a 3D model that we obviously signed on to. If Hamas wants to disarm, they could do that in an afternoon. That is the next step. And once they do that, we can move forward.
Can you give us an update on where those efforts stand? Where are we in that process toward potentially getting Hamas to disarm?
Well, the IDF Israel currently controls between 60 to 70% of Gaza. And we're demilitarizing that area right now as we speak. The remaining area is unfortunately being controlled to a certain degree by Hamas, and we're fully aligned with the BOP, and more importantly, we're fully aligned with President Trump and Jared Kushner that number one, we have to disarm Hamas. Hamas needs to put down its arms, and Gaza needs to be demilitarized, either the easy way, by just laying down your arms, which again could be done in an afternoon, or it'll be done the hard way. But either way, Hamas is going to be disarmed.
Just lastly, what's the hard way? What could be done that hasn't been already? Gaza looks like the surface of the moon, Doctor.
Well, again, the hard way was what we've been doing for over 2 years. We disarmed over 30,000 Hamas terrorists by taking them out.
Yeah.
And if that's what needs to be done, that's what will be done. We prefer the easy way, for them just to lay down their arms, and that would be over with. That hasn't happened for the past 10 months. They had the easy option of just laying down their arms. I hope they do that. I hope they do what they said they do, what they pledged to do, to lay down their arms, to disarm, to demilitarize Gaza, and we could move forward. But if that doesn't happen, again, we're ready to do whatever needs to be done.